Hello, everyone. It's Christo. Hold on, I'm focusing on my face there. Good. Yeah, let's brighten it up a little bit for you. There we are. I have some news, some updates. Get that better. There we go. Number one. Recently, I'm sure you guys saw the some of the footage, the whale footage, and the footage of that. I think it was a military object that was cloaked. I've looked at footage of some of the military jets that have these panels on the wings, and they use that to create a magnetic flare around the plane. So it looks kind of like an orb in a way, but what's really happening is it's a bright light that's contained in this field and it distorts it and makes it all weird. So it's like a camouflage for them. But, and that's not top secret or anything, so I'm not endangering anybody by saying that. But when I got up on it with that lens, I could clearly see these little green lights on the ends of something, and I went through a whole bunch of different lists of planes, and one that came up, two of them came up, was a kind, I can't remember the exact name, it was a jet fighter, super modern one, and then the other was a B-1, the stealth bomber, which made way more sense to me because it was all contained and it couldn't maintain that position. It did it for a long time, but I could see this part where like smoke was wrapping around inside of something that had a sphere on the outside, and it moved off right to left, which, as you remember with the triangles that I've showed you, they don't do, they will move off into a cloud to disappear, so they're not as obvious. But most of the time, they manifest on camera and disappear on camera, and they do symmetrical geometry, so you know they move very differently because they're not flying. Like I tell you guys over and over again, UFOs don't fly, so don't fool yourselves. Really look hard because we already have the technology at our disposal. I'm positive of that, especially after that one thing. Back to the lens. The 2000 millimeter lens was nice, but here's the problem with it. It's a 16 megapixel sensor on a camera with a 2000 millimeter lens. Had good image stabilization, 2000 millimeters, right? But I can take it, it wouldn't shoot in RAW, which is really important. And in case you guys don't know what that means, it means if I blow up the image so I can get closer on something while I'm editing the video together, it won't look, the object itself won't look distorted. You'll see what it is. It's like zooming in on the frame. Anyway, so it's an editing issue. And the camera itself, that it had this lens capability, it's the only one that had it. It's kind of like a telescope, basically. Very poor low light. I just found a new camera with a very long telephoto lens. It's a 300 millimeter, but it shoots in RAW in high def, 1080p, 60, 10, right, the 60p, and it's a technical thing. But what it means basically is, if I blow up the image to the same zoom distance that 2000 millimeter lens was, it'll be the same thing. So having this big, huge, clunky lens that I couldn't change and couldn't focus correctly, it had no actual manual focus ring. I'm a photographer and I've made movies. I have to have a manual focus ring and a manual zoom thing because I use everything on manual. Otherwise, the UFOs could take control of those other functions. I know some of you may not believe that, but it's true. I've experienced it many times. And if the infrared controller for the remote is on or any of that stuff, they can screw around with us. And I don't know if that's because some of the objects I'm looking at are man-made and they can do that because they technologically have some kind of defense system, or if it's UFOs. But I know it's happened when there are definite UFOs and definite questionable unidentified stuff. So long story short, I got rid of that other camera because I also found out that when I zoomed in on the tripod, the lens was so heavy that it actually kind of damaged the inside of the camera somehow. I found this out from a blog on the internet. So anyway, thanks again. Peace. Be sure the videos that are coming are going to be spectacular, and I'm taking things very cautiously because people are aware of what I'm doing, and some people are stoked about it and don't mind it at all, but some people are kind of creepy about that stuff, and they do things to make sure it's very difficult for me to film sometimes. And like I said again, you have to be there to understand this. I can't say that to you, and you just go, well, how does he? He's probably just crazy. It's paranoia. It's not that. Trust me. So anyway, be safe, peace. And for all of you who want to come and do a sighting with me right now, please understand something. And there's two things I'm going to say at the end. First, it's the Facebook thing. Now on Facebook, I'll read all your comments, but I can't answer them all anymore. And not only that, if I keep accepting friends, the more friends I accept, the less I can answer. But I do read all of them, and I mark them as read. So there's that. If you do want to maintain a dialogue with me, on a more consistent basis, YouTube. There's no pop-up menus or any of that kind of stuff that drives me crazy. I'm, a 58-year-old dude that's doing this crazy stuff and filming and all this other stuff and trying to keep a roof over my head and get another movie made for you guys. So just remember that. If you want a direct response from me, if you want me to kind of give you some updates and stuff, it makes me far less crazy, and you will get a much better answer from me if you just go over to YouTube, on my YouTube page, Christos on YouTube. It's real simple. There it is. Boom. And yeah, there it is. So anyway, the other thing is, people coming down right now, I'm getting used to a bunch of new equipment because I want to make the videos really great for you guys. So just be patient with me. And remember, if any of you just can't show up at a random time because the weather, optimally, so that I don't stress out, so it makes it a little bit easier for me because the signals are more easily defined and seen. Think about the weather. If the weather is perfect, perfect. And remember this, if I did this for everybody constantly, I would make myself a moving target because, like I said, there's people who have a little trouble with, this research, and you guys are beautiful, and I respect you all very much, and I don't want to when I do this research, I'm a little intense in case you didn't know, and I don't want to do that to anybody. So yeah, just let me go through this little study period with my new cameras and we'll all be cool. Over and out. Peace, Christos. Thank you so much, everybody, for leaving all those reviews on Netflix. Please continue to do so, because the momentum is building, and the more it builds and keeps going, the more the higher ups will take notice and then help us get this movie made, because Justin's a real human being that needs to eat food and stuff, and so am I, and to do that we have to have somebody help us pay for another movie. So peace. Over and out. Thank you all. We love you so much. Peace.